Cancer. Today a woman will come to your house, but she's not coming alone. Walking beside her is someone cloaked in authority, carrying the energy of truth and a disruption that may leave you confused. Your heart will beat faster, not from fear, but because your soul is preparing to receive something that will forever change the way you see this life. And if you're here, it's not a coincidence. This video isn't just a reminder, it's a doorway to an inner awakening, something you may have quietly forgotten while trying to stay strong for others. If you listen all the way to the end, you will receive a special message from the universe, a whisper meant just for your nurturing yet protective Cancer heart. And now, as everything begins to shift silently, let me guide you back to the very first thing your soul once felt. That vague unease you couldn't name but never truly disappeared. There are days when you can't explain why you feel unsettled. Everything around you seems calm, yet inside, something stirs. A feeling so faint, so blurry, but it doesn't go away. Cancer, if you've ever felt this way, maybe it wasn't just pointless anxiety. It was intuition, whispering. That sacred language only souls as sensitive as yours can hear without needing any words. I've always believed that intuition is how the universe speaks to those gentle enough to listen. And Cancer, you are one of the rare few who can hear that silence. Not through words, not through logic, but with a warm heart that has endured enough to know what's real. Perhaps you've had strange dreams where a loved one comes looking for you, but their face is unclear. Maybe you've woken up in the middle of the night, your pillow wet with tears and you don't know why. Or maybe you were sitting in a familiar room and suddenly a cold breeze brushed past your shoulder, your heart raced for no reason. Those are signals, silent messages from the universe sent to a soul that needs awakening. Have you ever felt like someone is watching you from the invisible realm? Not to scare you, but as if guarding, holding you back, reminding you not to forget who you are. Don't fear that feeling, because maybe that's the protection you never realized was there. Maybe your soul once made a promise to a higher realm, and today, that promise wants to be remembered. Pause for a moment. Don't rush forward when your soul is calling you home. If lately you've been having trouble sleeping or feeling confused for no reason, if you keep seeing repeating numbers or have a sense that you're hearing something in silence, don't dismiss it. It's not random. It's a message. The universe always speaks to you. You've just been too busy caring for others to hear that gentle voice within yourself. And if you've ever had a dream that made you wake up in tears, write it down, share it in the comments. Maybe it's not just a dream, but a part of the spiritual map your soul once drew from many lifetimes ago. Because right after those vague signs comes the moment someone truly enters your life, bringing a truth you're not ready to hear, but need to know. There are times when you think everything is fine, life may be quiet, but still moving the way you're used to. Then someone walks into your life without knocking, without warning, carrying an energy that makes you stand up, look again, and face yourself. And this time, that person is a woman, accompanied by a symbol of law, power, and truth. But don't panic, because maybe they're not here to break you, but to awaken you. I believe that in every soul's journey, there comes a moment when truth must reveal itself, not to make you fall, but to give you a chance to rise as your truest self. Truth never arrives in a pleasant disguise. It usually comes with surprise, with moments that leave you disoriented. But it's in those very moments that you discover how strong you truly are. Don't see that woman as a stranger. Imagine she's a part of your soul, sent from a higher consciousness to help you speak the truth you've buried for too long. And the one walking beside her, the one representing truth, discipline, and boundaries, is the symbol of all that you've been avoiding within yourself. What's the deeper lesson here? That truth never comes to destroy you. It comes to free you from the ties that are tiring your soul. Maybe it's been too long since you've been honest with yourself. You pretend you're okay, pretend to be strong, pretend to forgive, but deep inside, you're just waiting for someone to come and give you a reason to finally let go. Have you ever wondered if someone came knocking on your door today, not to blame you, but to help you speak the pain you've never dared to name? What would you say? This isn't the story of someone else out there. This is a metaphor for the moment when you, a gentle yet resilient Cancer, must finally face your own transformation. And I want to say this to you from my heart, not a script. You don't need to fear the truth. You were born to feel deeply, to love fully, and to heal what seems impossible to mend. That's your gift, but also the mission the universe entrusted to you. If you've ever gone through a moment in life when someone spoke the words you had held inside for far too long, and it broke you open, not from pain but from finally being understood, then share that story under this video. Because when you retell your pain with love, you are helping heal not only yourself but also those who are watching silently, carrying the same pain in their hearts. And then, after those tremors, there will come a time when you realize you are not alone. Because when the truth is revealed, an invisible layer of protection around you also begins to activate an embrace from the universe, always ready to catch you, as long as you dare to walk through that darkness one more time with the light within you. And in that moment, when the truth is unlocked, there will come a time when you need to act not with resistance, but with wise choices. What to keep, what to let go of, and what is truly worth protecting from now on. Because in the next part, you will see your soul is being wrapped and protected, but you must be the one to decide whether you are ready to stand up for that truth or not. When the truth comes near, what hurts us is not that it is too cruel, but that it is too clear, to the point where we can no longer pretend not to see it. For Cancer, that's even harder, because you are the one who always puts others' feelings first. You sense their pain even before they speak. You see what others try to hide, yet you remain silent because you're afraid the truth will hurt someone. But at some point, you'll realize when you're always afraid of hurting others, you are the one who ends up hurt the most. I used to be that person, always choosing silence, always giving others the benefit of the doubt, just because I thought I was strong enough to endure. But after all, I realized we weren't born just to endure. We are here to live a life worthy of kindness, protected, not exploited. Cancer, your heart is beautiful, but that doesn't mean everyone deserves it. Maybe you're in a relationship that's slowly making you shrink. Maybe the job you do every day is causing you to lose the most delicate parts of your soul. Or maybe you're living a life where you always have to apologize for being too sensitive, too emotional, too fragile. But no, you're not fragile. You're just too honest with your emotions in a world that teaches people to hide them. If you've ever woken up in the middle of the night feeling like you're disappearing from your own life, if your heart has ever quietly cracked when someone dismissed the love you gave, if you've ever been told to be more rational when you were simply being real, then know this: your heart needs an embrace, not a lecture. The lesson here isn't to become tougher, but to learn to stand up for yourself in the gentlest way possible. Sometimes, loving yourself doesn't mean doing anything grand. Sometimes, it simply means you stop apologizing for your feelings. You have the right to choose peace. You have the right to not explain. You have the right to walk away from the things that make you no longer recognize yourself. If right now there's something in your heart that needs to be protected, whether it's a memory, a life principle, or a fragile emotion you've hidden for so long, write it under this video. Write it for yourself as an affirmation. I deserve to be protected, even when I no longer have the strength to speak. Because when you truly look at yourself with love, the universe will start sending new energies to protect you. You don't have to fight alone, but you do need to choose yourself before anyone else can do that for you. You don't have to disappoint anyone to live your truth, but you also don't have to lose yourself to please anyone. And when you're brave enough to act, even if it's just a small action like saying no once, like closing the door to something that hurt you, that is the moment your energy begins to shift. The old will fade away, the worthy will arrive, because truth never abandons those who dare to walk toward the light. And you know what? When you choose the truth, not only does your soul get protected, but your entire life will begin to be rewritten in a gentler, kinder way, more aligned with your heart. You will understand every intuition you've had, every suspicion you ever felt wasn't your imagination. It was a whisper from the universe, signaling that the truth was getting very close. There are things you felt early on but tried to brush aside, not because you didn't believe in your intuition, but because you didn't want that truth to be real. You hoped it was just a passing feeling, that the other person wasn't that bad, that you were overthinking. But you knew. Your heart had told you long ago. It was only waiting for you to listen. You sat in silence, looking into the eyes of someone you trusted, and felt something wasn't right. They smiled, they said kind words, but you sensed a hidden distance, an unnamed crack. You had no proof, but you had a feeling. And for a Cancer, intuition is never random. How many times have you turned away in silence, tears falling that no one knew about? You smiled, but inside you slowly shrank, withdrew, because you were afraid that if you spoke up, everything would shatter. You feared losing. But maybe what you truly lost was the sense of safety inside your own heart. And now, today, everything is becoming clearer. The scattered pieces are starting to find each other. The vague intuitions are connecting into a full picture. And you stand there, silently facing the truth, no longer able to deny it. It shows up, no longer allowing you to pretend. It says, it's time to stop living in the gray zone, where things are neither right nor wrong, where love is neither given nor released. You don't need anyone to validate your pain in order to be allowed to feel sad. You don't need proof to believe in your intuition. What you need is simply to allow yourself to be honest, for the first time, with yourself. Sometimes the truth doesn't break you, it liberates you. It lifts the weight of pretending to protect things no longer worth holding on to. It brings lightness because you finally dared to name what has quietly been hurting you. Lightness, because from that moment on, you know you're no longer living in confusion. I know it's not easy for you to say these things, but if today your heart resonates with what is being shared, then maybe it's time to open that door, the door that leads you out of doubt, out of the habit of silence, out of the role of someone who's always fine, and into a new space where truth is the beginning of freedom. Because after all that you've tried to hold together, what you truly need is not to keep others comfortable, but to keep yourself whole. And when you are brave enough to stand on the side of truth, you're not just freeing yourself. You're also creating space for the things that truly deserve to enter your life. Because on the other side of truth is the reward the universe has quietly prepared for you long ago. And you will soon understand that every wound you overcame carried within it a blessing that only the brave are able to receive. There's one thing I always believe about Cancer. You don't do anything halfway. When you love with everything you have, even when you receive very little in return. When you help someone, you don't need a thank you. And when you sacrifice, you never retell it nor seek recognition. But sometimes, it is because of that very silence that the universe chooses the most unexpected moment to reward you, as if asking, "Will you still have faith, even when no one stays?" I understand. Maybe you've been disappointed. You once believed, "What's the point of being good?" So many times, you chose kindness, chose forgiveness, chose silence, only to be the one hurt the most. And yet, you kept living with grace. Not because it gained you anything, but because that's how you were raised. To live with morality, with heart, and with compassion. And that unconditional kindness is what's opening doors you never even imagined. Opportunities don't always come dressed in radiant light. Often, they arrive as a setback, a rejection, a turn you didn't want to take. You think you failed, but in truth, it's just the beginning. The universe often wraps its gifts in what looks like loss, so only those who are sincere, patient, and honest with their hearts can recognize them. If you're in a phase of uncertainty, exhaustion, or nurturing a dream no one else believes in, I hope you don't give up. Because beautiful seeds always sprout quietly in the dark. And one day, when the light shines in, you'll see just how far you've come, simply by kindness and sincerity. Remember, what brings you to tears today will one day be what makes you smile with gratitude. Because pain, if it doesn't turn you bitter, will turn you into someone who can uplift others through real experience, not just through words. And maybe this is exactly what the world needs now, more than ever. People who choose kindness despite being hurt. People who dare to love again despite disappointment. People like you. Silent souls with a deep healing power, simply through their honest presence. If you're holding a dream you haven't dared to say out loud, something you long to do but fear to fail, write it under this video. Perhaps the moment you put it into words is when you send out the first ripple for the universe to guide your way, not to prove anything, but to affirm you're still alive, with a heart loving enough to believe in the good. And then, from the place where you thought you were weakest, you will begin to grow strongest. Not strong because you fight the world, but because you finally stand on your own side, and on the side of goodness waiting to be shared. You'll realize there is a love waiting for you, not to rescue you, but to walk with you. A love that listens, that heals, and that protects the purest part of you the world once forgot. Some people come into your life not to stay forever, but to awaken something within you. A forgotten faith, an unnamed wound. And for Cancer, you don't just love with your heart, you love with your soul. That's why you miss someone, not because of how good they were, but because you once felt safe in their eyes, even if only for a moment. Maybe someone has left. Maybe the one you believed was the one chose not to walk with you to the end. But if you still remember them, not with attachment but with gratitude, then you've grown. Because love isn't about holding on to someone, but holding on to the gentleness in your heart, even after losing something precious. I know you've forgiven more than you needed to, stayed silent to preserve a relationship already breaking, closed your eyes to avoid making someone else feel guilty. But you also know, when love only exists in one-sided sacrifice, sooner or later, your soul will run dry. You don't need a love that makes you disappear, no matter how deeply you love. True love doesn't make you feel small. True love gives you space to be yourself without fear. And if you've been in a relationship that dimmed the sparkle in your eyes, made you stop writing, stop dreaming, stop feeling free, that wasn't love. It was attachment dressed up in soulless promises. But trust me, love never disappears from this world. It's just waiting for you to heal enough to receive it without using it to fill your loneliness. Love coming late doesn't mean you're not worthy. It just waited for you to realize you don't need saving. You just need someone kind enough not to hurt you again. Maybe somewhere, someone is thinking of you quietly, the way you once thought of them. Maybe a reunion will happen, not to begin again, but to close unspoken chapters with reverence. Or maybe a new love will come, and this time, you won't lose yourself in it. You'll love with clarity, yet remain gentle. You'll choose someone who doesn't make you shrink to fit into their life, but someone who comes to expand the world with you. If you've ever had a deep love that didn't last, if you still hold a name in your heart but no longer wish to go back, if you're in the phase of learning to love yourself before loving someone else, share one thing you've learned from that love in the comments. Because maybe what you write will heal someone who's also trying, just like you. Because in the end, the most beautiful thing in love is not having each other, but keeping a kind heart even after being broken. And that is the greatest gift you can offer to this world. A love that holds no bitterness, no blame, only gratitude. After deep emotions, after truths come to light and wounds are faced, the universe will send you a clear signal that you are not alone on this journey. There are souls surrounding you, protecting you, and softly whispering, "You don't have to be strong anymore. You just have to be you." Perhaps you've gotten used to walking in silence, used to doing everything on your own, feeling alone, healing alone. You don't talk about it, don't blame anyone, don't ask for help. You just quietly hope someone will be sensitive enough to understand the silence in your eyes. But sometimes the whole world stays silent, and you begin to wonder, am I walking alone? The answer is no. You've never been alone. It's just that the protection you receive doesn't take human form. It comes as an intuition you can't explain, in a dream that wakes you in the middle of the night, in the sunlight streaming through the curtain making you feel alive once more, or in a moment of despair when someone sends you a message, just a few soft words, but just enough to keep you from collapsing. That's not coincidence. That's the universe holding your hand in a very gentle way. Maybe you can't see them, but there are souls watching over you. It could be a loved one who has passed. It could be a friend from a past life. It could be fragments of light within yourself, once shattered, once in darkness, now returning to protect what you've quietly built. I believe your soul was chosen not to suffer, but to awaken. Not to carry everyone's pain, but to learn how to transform pain into light. You are not a victim of life. You are a quiet beam of light, shining into places others fear to enter. Perhaps in recent days, you've been seeing repeating numbers like 11, 11, 22, 22, 55 to 55, not for superstition, but as a reminder that every shift in your life is being divinely guided. Even if you're not sure where you're going yet, trust the path is already laid out, as long as you keep living your truth. If you've ever felt like there's an invisible layer of air surrounding you, if you've ever had a strong feeling that someone was protecting you even if they're no longer in this world, if you've ever stood in the wind, closed your eyes, and heard the answer from within, then you've received the signal. You are a soul chosen to carry healing energy. And sometimes, the healer needs to be loved too, needs to be embraced, needs to be reminded. They don't always have to be strong. The universe doesn't demand your perfection. It just asks you to be real with your fears, your hopes, your scars, and your faith, even if just a tiny bit remains. If right now you're feeling unsteady, write down something you want to say to the souls watching over you. It might be someone who has passed, an angel, or the light within you. Write it down as a way of acknowledging, I am not alone. I am loved. I am being guided, because in the very end, you'll realize all of this, the truth The pain, the patience, and the healing was not meaningless. They are the silent footsteps leading you toward a final transformation, a doorway to rebirth, where you no longer live to endure, but to shine with your truest soul. If you're still here now, then I know you are one of the most special souls, not because you are better than anyone else, but because you have the courage to listen to the voice within, even when it's faint, fragile, or buried under years of hurt. You are no longer who you used to be. The old dreams, the expectations of others, the roles you once carried, they're all falling away, piece by piece. And this is not the end, it's the beginning. The beginning of a new version, the truest version. No longer bowing to please others, no longer shrinking to be accepted, no longer asking for permission to be yourself. You've walked a long journey. Maybe no one sees it, but you know. Each step has taken effort. Each act of forgiveness, each release, each return to yourself has been a monumental step for your soul. Don't measure your journey by others' recognition. Measure it by the peace you are slowly reclaiming. If today you feel like something deep inside you has just been touched, a memory, a belief that once shattered, a dream you thought had died, then give it a chance to come alive again. Not to become who you once were, but to become who your soul has always known you could be. The world doesn't need you to be perfect. It just needs you to be real. Because when you are true to yourself, you are already healing the rest of the world. Every time you choose forgiveness over resentment, every time you choose kindness over indifference, every time you dare to listen to your heart instead of following the crowd, you're sending out a quiet but powerful message that love still exists, that light still exists, that gentleness still belongs in this loud world. And if you've ever felt invisible, remember this: those who carry the light are rarely seen right away, but they are the ones who change the color of the entire room. You are one of them. Before we end this, I want you to do one small thing. Write down one thing you choose to keep for your soul after this journey. It could be a belief, a promise, a lesson, or simply a phrase like, "I believe in the light within me," "I deserve a gentle love," or "I am protected." Because when you write it down, not for someone else to read, but for the universe to hear, you are declaring to the world that your soul is ready for the new chapter. Thank you for being here, for listening with your whole heart. Please share this with the souls you love. You might just be planting a seed of light in someone's life and not even know it. I believe in you, and so does the universe.